Right, the ultrasonic's finished now. You can see the stuff that's coming out of the barrel. It's been loosened off. Move that round. Right, I'll take that out. Pair of tweezers. I'll dry the barrel off. Have a look down inside with our flexible torch. That seems pretty clean actually. The J-bar's in good shape too. Oh, maybe we won't take it out. We'll have a look and see. We'll run our wire brush down now, being very careful because the J-bar's still in it. Winding it off the top. Little piece of sack coming up. He's gone. Check it again. I think I saw another little bit of sack in there. I did. There we go. Got rid of him. It now looks pretty good in there. Try the filling lever again. Nice smooth motion. Press the J-bar right down. I'll just check on top of that. Yep, very clean. All right. I'll put that down. Now, get rid of the ultrasonic and on to the next step. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to check the nib. Make sure it's got the correct angle on it. 14 karat gold nib. Alright. I'll get our nib straightener block out. And one of our burnishers. We start off with the underside of the nib first. Hold that so we can see it. We slowly run the burnisher down the full length of the nib on the inside. What we're doing is we're slowly moving metal and removing any fine bumps or dents that are inside, on the inside of the nib. Now we'll put that on there. Change our burnisher. And slowly run the full length of the nib, being very careful not to put pressure on the tip that you write with, or you'll bend it. What we're doing here is checking to make sure that the angle of the nib is correct, and both tines are aligned equally. Right, I'll put that under the microscope, just check it. That in a little bit. Where's our tweezers? A little bit more. Now I can see it clearly. Yeah, those tines are pretty good. Yeah, all right. We'll pick the nib up, put it down. Put that over there. Now we're going to cut the sack to size. Now we'll cut the sack to the correct size. We need to allow about 5mm down at the base. When the sack gets pushed in, it doesn't get twisted. First thing I'll do is I'll drop a stick down in there, and we'll measure the total depth and then mark it. Thickness of the pen is, that's the depth. Put that aside for a moment. Now we've got that. We need to put the section here and come back the distance where the sack sits on the section, which is there. Then we'll allow about another 5mm, which is the big line there. So that is where we're going to cut. Line that up. That's where we're going to cut the sack. Right there. There's our line. See where our line is, just there. That's our sack length. And there we have it. Last thing we'll do before we polish the nib, we'll take a piece of 1/1000 brass sheeting, insert it into that little hole there and run it up between the tines, like so. That will clear anything out that's caught in between the tines. Right, and now we'll polish it. We'll use a standard silver cleaning cloth for that. Rub it long ways. You can see it's starting to get a nice shine on it. Do the other end. Those marks that were on there have now gone. A little bit under the tines. And there we go. Now we're going to put the nib onto the feed. That is where we want the feed to sit there. Feed sits back here. The nib is going to write too wet. And if it's too close to the end of the tines, then it will write very fine. If we have a look on the feed, we'll see just there's a dot. That's where the nib fits correctly. So we'll align that like so. Roll it over. Check to make sure it's even. Hold it tightly. Press it back. Looks alright. Press it back into the section. So that it goes all the way in. That can go a fraction more. Not quite as far out there as it was when we tapped it out. Have a look at that under the magnifier. Yes, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to put the sack on the end of the section. It's a number 15 sack, because it's 15/64 of an inch. They're not easy to put on with gloves. I don't want it to go all the way, I just want to get it started. Okay, I'll do that off camera without my gloves, then I'll be back. There we go, a lot easier without my gloves on. You'll see that the sack is about halfway up that section of the section. So what we'll do now is we'll put a tiny little bit of shellac around the top piece here, both sides, and underneath. Put the lid on that again. Now remove the tweezers slowly and then push the sack all the way up onto the section so it sits straight. Right, we'll give that a minute or two to dry and then we'll come back and put some French chalk on it. If you haven't got French chalk, use talcum powder. Don't use baby powder or anything like that because it has various oils in it that will rot away the sack.